That's why I got it as the first topic.
Man,
I'm so ready to be. Ooh, Lord. I'm talking all day.
Debate with bait. Season 4. Let's go. Here we go, debate with bait, sports show, season 4, live at Mo City Radio. We talking basketball, football, and boxing. You got something to say, man? Jump up in them comments. We just giving opinions, supporting it with proof. Let's look at the stats, cause numbers tell the truth. It ain't no hating, we just debating, interviewing guests so we can learn how they operating. Shout out the prize picks for the daily fantasy. Invest a few dollars, let's do some gambling. C-Bake got the topics, and he keep it cracking. Laro got the commentary, and he never lacking. Cole with the game, he live from the Big Apple. You know, Mo Serious Entertainment made it happen. Another sports show, we live from the Mo. Debate with Bake, season 4, let's go.
What up? Welcome back to another edition of Debate with Bake Radio, brought to you by Mo Serious Entertainment. Check us out at moserious.com. We actually back with season 4, just like they said in the intro, episode 12. And I am your host, C-Bake, Debate with Bake, the number one debater on Debate with Bake. Nah, I'm just kidding, man. But you know I always got to brag and boast about these debates. But we back at it. We back in it, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, we got the NBA playoffs, but there's a lot going on in the national media about, football stars, draft, status, everything. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, but we are glad to be back in the building, man. It's good to see y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe. We need your support here at Debate with Bake Podcast, as well as Mo Serious Podcast. Check out our other podcast that is on Mo Serious Entertainment at moserious.com. Shout out to those other podcasts. Guns Down, Gloves Up, Dr. Jeremiah with Dr. Candace Matthews, and Mo City Podcast with my man Chuck. So we back in it, man, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be back in the building. Once again, they got sick up there in New York, man. And this, we've been getting excuses. I think it's just because the Knicks are looking very, very, very suspect in the playoffs, as me and Ro predicted. But anyway, shout out to my man Cole. Chuck, I hope you sent the link to Cole, because we're going to roast him in his absence. It's funny how when things look good in New York, he on here with his little beanie, with his little New York thing on, and he talking crazy. But all of a sudden, when they start having, close games in the playoffs and all his little picks that he doing, his little side gambling don't come through, all of a sudden he's sick for 2 weeks straight. But shout out to my man Cole. I ain't going to roast you too much, but we do miss you at Debate with Bake Podcast. We need that New York accent. And I need somebody to roast, because, Ro be on it a little bit. Me and Ro got to go a little bit back and forth, but I like to run over Cole. So Cole, man, come back in. I'm gonna roast you a little bit. We got the Houston jerseys up, but to my left, man. Speaking of my man Ro, what's going on, man? Back in the house, I see you got your Rockets jersey on, trying to bring him some luck tonight, man.
Yeah, man, I'm repping, man. I'm not quite sure how much longer we rocking, but we rocking, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, my producer, the prophet, my man dressed like it's a funeral, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, listen. Shout out, man, Chuck. If y'all could see behind me, Chuck is trying his best, man. We got a couple of Houston Rocket jerseys back there. My man Ro got the official Houston Rockets practice shirt on, so they looking good, man. I'm not as optimistic, because I've been telling people all year, man, and I had to boast a little bit before we got on the air that I never was really convinced, but I'm gonna support them tonight. They still can win this series. We'll get into that later on, but first and foremost, man, we got a lot of national things to talk about. So before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Make sure you go to morsayers.com. Make sure you cop some gear, man. Give us a thumbs up and come check us out, man. And please feel free. We got the chat open. You can comment on the chat if you want to ask us a question or a topic. We like for you to keep it within the topics we're talking about. But if you want to just comment about anything sports-wise, mix up in that chat for debate with Bake. Chuck will post that and we'll get it going. But first and foremost, man, it's two stories, and I couldn't figure out which one to go with first, but I chose to go with the Shedeur Sanders situation. It's been getting a lot of national attention. And so, yes, I believe it was the 5th round. He was finally selected to the Cleveland Browns. And so it's been a lot of national attention on this. It's a lot of people saying that the NFL, there's a bounty out. Well, I shouldn't say bounty, but they think Shedeur Sanders, this is just a direct hit to him, meaning that this was plotted by the NFL because he's Deion Sanders' son. Some people say because, Shedeur is a little flashy that the NFL smacked him back. I've heard people say, because he's too arrogant, that the NFL is teaching him a lesson. Whatever it is, let's talk about it. Let's air it out because it's been so big. But like I said in the intro, he did drop down to the 5th round. Now, me and Ro, that's why it's hard to debate, Ro, man, because me and Ro, sometimes we really do agree. You know what I'm saying? But me and Ro came on this show. That's why we needed Cole here, because Cole is like all in on Deion Sanders. Anything Deion touches, including Shedeur and Shiloh and all them, Coles think that they're all world. But he slid down, Shedeur Sanders, he slid down to the 5th round in the NFL draft. Now, my question is, and let's get it going, Ro. Now, me and you both agreed on previous episodes that we didn't think he was a 1st round pick, which that has come true. I'm not surprised. And here's the thing, and we're gonna air it out tonight because let's just be honest, man. In our community, the African American community, there's always that, and rightfully so, that that plot that they out to get us because Deion is this mega icon now as far as coaching, and some of it is true that the quote unquote establishment is going against Deion. So I've heard that at work. I've heard that on different podcasts that it's a shame that he didn't go to 1st round. I disagree with that. Because it ain't got nothing to do with anything outside of what I've seen as far as his talent.
Yeah.
But some other things people talk about, and I'm gonna let you get into it, Ro, but the naysayers, the one that actually agree with him not being the 1st round pick, some people say, it's the flashiness, it's the chains. Some people say that it's Deion saying my son ain't gonna just go anywhere. Then I've heard, well, there's other quarterbacks in the draft that said they weren't going anywhere, and because they're different race, right. So it's been all of that, and it's been crazy to me. Now, I'm gonna say this, and then Ro, we gonna open it up. I do think it's crazy that he slid to the 5th round because I don't think this is a deep quarterback draft.
Agreed, them facts. But there weren't 5 quarterbacks better than that.
Right. But let me ask you this. Are you buying that the NFL did this on purpose? Is that far-fetched from the truth?
Yeah, I don't think it's far-fetched from the truth at all. I think the proof is in the pudding. It was like, unfortunately for my boy, because like I said, I'm pulling for the kid at the end of the day. Just gloves off, unbiased. I'm pulling for the kid regardless,
Right.
But yeah, it was the perfect storm. It was a little bit of all of that. I mean, I saw the interviews, I saw, how he performed and how he comes across. It is on the abrasive side. Now, was there a secret agenda as far as the league and the GMs and ownership is concerned in the NFL? I really have to lean towards, yes, I believe so. There was in this UIL age, the kid is a millionaire already. The kid is a generational millionaire, as a matter of fact. They're several generations in terms of the money now. But yeah, they humbled the kid. I mean, well, I mean, I'm not gonna say they humbled him because he didn't need humbling. That's a real that's a term that's been thrown around a whole lot more than I think it needs to, because the kid didn't need to be humble. His confidence and being humble are two totally separate ball games. Now, I mean, is he as articulate as you need him to be or want him to be? Maybe, maybe not. The reviews ain't in on that. But on the face of it, was he a 5th round draft pick? He was better than that. You know, I mean, the kid in a weak quarterback draft, like you said, there were not 5 quarterbacks better than he this year by far, you know, even on the raw side with a small sample size of what the kid did. So, yeah, it's interesting what they did. It's even more stunning just that it's actually Cleveland who made this move, because Cleveland's got, Cleveland's all over the place. I heard there's 5 quarterbacks in the room.
Exactly.
At this particular point. But yeah, man, they took it upon themselves to do it. And, they sent the message.
Okay, keep that bullet in the chamber because I want to come back to that, talking about Cleveland's quarterback room. And Chuck, I'm going to ask you just for a little bit more time before since the game is late, can we get into this? Because I'm going to play devil's advocate on this. Okay, I'm finna air it out. All right, now, I got some people saying this outside of this. Okay. In particular, I have a co-worker. Shout out to my man Price. Shout out to my man D Will. Shout out to a couple other guys that I talked to at work about this. But one person said this, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but I'm playing devil's advocate because we got to air this out. All right. Now, I had a person tell me the draft is just like a job interview. Now, do you show up to the job interview with $1 million chain on, saying, not necessarily saying, but indicating or maybe giving off some kind of vibe that you are him? Now, picture this. The establishment is the NFL. As far as a race thing, it's still ran by predominantly white owners. Judging by what you said, it is a travesty to me that he slid all the way down to the 5th round. But the question, and I go back to the chain, I have no issue with the chain. But could that be something? The way he came in, not necessarily the chain, but the chain adds to the swagger. Because like I said, some people, this particular person at my job said, you have to look at it as like a job interview. Okay. The chain. Not participating in your pro day. Okay. Your father saying there's only certain places that he needs. I will allow him to go.
Man, I was gonna say,
you see what I'm saying?
Not even to cut you off, but the sound bite from his lips from one of them interviews was saying, look, if you don't want to change the culture of your organization and to win the culture, this, that, because
exactly.
I'm proven, don't even draft me.
So see the demands.
Yeah, your messaging.
The demands. It paints the picture like you going into a job interview saying, number one, even though the application said be available on weekends as needed, you already putting it out there that I'm applying for this job and I'm going to get this job. And this might not be a great example. So if you're going to kill me on it, but hear me out. I'm not working weekends. Okay. What you saying in the job description, I'm not doing that.
Don't apply to me.
Exactly. I'm not showing up to the first interview. Call me when the second interview, because I know
I made it to that round.
I got to at least make it to that round. Now, some people look at it like that. And it's like, now I show up to the second round of the interviews. I didn't. And here's the thing. Some people say, how you not going, here from a pure, and I'm just stepping out on a limb with this, from a pure football standout. Okay, let's state the facts. Y'all did good at Colorado. Okay, y'all we watched you guys come from Jackson State, bring that school up to par. And now you go to Colorado, they take a gamble. They're getting all the money back plus more. The sales and merchandise, everything has been off the chain. You just recently got a national ranking. I think you were ranked in the top 25. Okay. Now, here's another thing. Y'all are not dominating in it's the Big 12 they're in, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are not dominating, okay? Shedeur, you've had good performances, but you have not had great performances.
Yeah, not great.
Consider the competition level, BYU, teams like that, okay? Which means it's not Georgia, it's not Florida, it's not LSU, it's not the Ohio State that you're doing this against, okay?
You needed to perform on your pro day.
Exactly.
You know
Not only that, at the end of the day, some people look at this in a kind of funny way. You kind of threw your offensive line underneath the bus when things didn't go right for you. And some people may not look at it like that, but some people say, hey, he did get out there and say, hey, man, the offensive line didn't play today. Now, that's subject to opinion. So you got all those factors in, you know what I'm saying? Calling out your offensive line. You haven't had a great performance that pushed you, and I'm talking just football-wise.
It set you apart.
Right. And we've not, even if you haven't played against the Ohio States, your division, in your conference, we haven't seen a great performance by a pretty good team. We've seen you do well, but anything that goes like, and this is
real spit. Like
right.
His tape and Cam tape killing Shedeur.
Exactly.
Just, you know,
so, and I go back to his dad. You know, what kind of, everybody knew who his dad was at Florida State. He's one of the top athletes in the country. But he showed up to a combine with a gold chain on, stepped out of the limousine, did a stretch, and ran a 4.2.
Yeah, right.
So,
unheard of. Right.
So
that was still showing up.
Right.
You know?
So Prime, in respect to him, it's like this. It's like Prime could talk that, and because Prime was that dude, and then Prime went to Atlanta, he still got a lot of criticism because the Falcons wasn't per se winning everything, even though he was flashy. But then guess what? Prime's career took off when he went to Dallas and San Francisco because everything he was saying, they won.
It came.
Right. Mm-hmm. Fast forward. And so all of these things, you got to wonder if an NFL team is thinking about this in the draft.
Definitely. It definitely factors in. I think that's the out. That was the out that he gave them. He gave them the out to do that. Like I said, they even down to Cam drafted first, because it was like, well, after Cam came off the board, okay, now you can't say we racist.
Right.
We already took your brother off the side. But it's just a combination of all the wrong things. It was like another soundbite I heard. It was, and the interviews were disastrous. Bro.
Exactly.
Like, that's really the biggest thing that hurt him that I saw, like just from a real superficial standpoint. I mean, the kid was on record saying that, yeah, Jackson State ain't do shit till I got there.
Exactly.
But Colorado ain't do shit till I got there either. I'm proving. And it's like, bro, these programs have history. You got to show some respect and reverence to the game and what comes before you. You're not the first quarter. You're not the best quarterback by damn show, son.
Exactly.
I mean, so you got to pay some homage to the ones that came before you and put that, at the draft, Warren Moon giving Cam that jersey was everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and just speaking on Cam, and Cam got a little bit of swagger, but Cam got up there and said, hey, I appreciate it. Time to get to work.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So even then, his whole sentiment, and I'm not trying to compare Shedeur to Cam. I'm just saying all of those factors, the swagger,
it factors in.
Right. And you gotta be that guy. You can't have you competing against BYU, and it's not his fault, but I'm just saying you didn't set the world on fire from a football standpoint. You didn't set the world on fire. And so me and you didn't. I didn't have him going in the first round because, and then let's just talk about the talent period.
I had him slipping.
Yeah. How do you skip your pro day? You're not a super freak.
Like that's entitlement. I mean,
exactly.
It's really Bronny 2.0 is what
exactly.
It is. You know what
and the thing about it is that, and it's just me talking. I could be wrong, but you skipped your pro day, but you weren't exceptional. So why not go to the pro day? That's just my question.
X clubs out, and then you think about it from the man. I mean, just playing the devil's advocate, like you said. Take it from the general manager standpoint. Like, how am I going to add him to the mix? This kid's father has been coaching him since he was
That's another great
10
point.
years old.
He's only had one coach.
How am I going to burden my coach with this kind of situation? It's like, is he going to be looking over his shoulder at Deion from the peanut gallery? Is it another LeVar Ball thing? Like how,
right.
what is the extent to which
right.
we're dealing with it? He's making some pretty bold declarations off top of it. This club is out. This club ain't the right situation. That club the right situation. So you made it easy for him, you know what I'm saying, to a large degree. And then just tried to pass it off as okay. Well, they blackballed the kid. They're trying to humble him, and it's like, well, kid kind of need to be humble,
right? And here's the thing: this is professional. Again, everything you said is a great point, but it doesn't matter if you're that guy, if you have that talent, if you've shown that, because there's been other guys that's been talking crazy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And other guys that appear to be arrogant or appear to be. But it's just too many
when
things.
The rubber meet the road,
right?
They showed up.
Right. And so it's just too many things. It's too many questions not being answered about Shedeur for him to step in with that swagger. I love it. But you also got to be that guy. And you got to have that evidence. You can skip your pro day if you Lamar Jackson. You can skip your pro day if you a Michael Vick. Because
if you had that Heisman in the bag.
Exactly.
If you Travis Hunter.
Exactly. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I mean,
right.
And the thing is, I don't know. He made it easy on him, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, I just pray I pray for the best because I don't want to see him fall flat,
right?
Or come up short, or really fall victim to the hype. Because this is the dirty underbelly of the UIL generation that we're living in now. Because this kid been a millionaire. He's been a millionaire since before he playing football.
There you go.
So it's like now that he playing little football. You got the right people stroking the ego the right way, saying, okay, and they co-signing all this really bold, groundbreaking stuff.
And then let's just talk about the Cleveland Browns, that organization.
Well,
like, here's the thing.
Right.
It's like a graveyard over there, and it's like you got, and I don't know everything. I should have the roster pull up, but the jury is still out on Watson. He's still got legal stuff. He's coming back from an injury. The fact that they signed Flacco again, that's an insurance policy that if it's Watson or somebody else, I don't know if Dorian is still over there. I remember Dorian Thompson. Yeah, I don't know if he's still over there. But you go to Cleveland, okay, and there's a lot of question marks, even with Cleveland as their roster, their receivers, their offensive line. I mean, I think they're going to be competitive in the AFC North.
I expected it to be more to it is all. I thought that, okay, if he slipped to 5 and they taking him and they're going to package him up and send him somewhere. And in the quarterback room of 5 different quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, it's like, so he done gone from really vying for the helm of a franchise to not even a backup. You feel me? Because it's like,
it just don't look like they got any plans for him to touch the field this year, right?
It don't leave you any room for improvement or any room to. You have no leeway, no wiggle room to do anything. I mean, your development is kind of arrested.
So do we just need to show out in practice?
But
like at the end of the day, with 5 people, only 3 gonna make this roster, right?
He only gonna get 1 or 2 reps. You know what I'm saying? In practice.
But that's what I'm saying. He don't. That's my point. He doesn't have the athleticism to do that in 1 or 2 plays, right? Like for me, and a shout out to another one of my coworkers, Mr. Simon said this. I think the best place for him to go would have been Vegas, and I'll tell you why. Geno has the same skill set. Geno is not athletic, but what they champion Shedeur on is accuracy and being able to not turn the ball over and make sound decisions. Pete Carroll's going to put a system in place to protect Geno. So I thought it would be great for him to go to Vegas because whatever they putting in as far as a package for Geno, it's going to fit with Shedeur.
And it seems
right. It's going to be 3rd and 5s. It's not going to be design runs. It's going to be, bubble screens and short screens and things like that. But it's going to be situations to where, and I'm pretty sure Vegas is building a line for Geno because he doesn't run like that. He's not a super athlete. I thought Vegas would be a good place for him. And it's plus Pete Carroll, as far as quarterbacks. So I don't know what it looks like in Cleveland. It doesn't look well for me because, again, he's not going to wow you with athleticism. And people say, well, why do you keep harping on that? It is the NFL.
Yes.
You have to be a dual quarterback.
You have to thrive on the bootleg.
Right,
the broken
right.
play is
exactly. You have to know how to improvise. Like in the NFL, and that's the thing. And I go back to college. It's difficult anyway to come from the SEC, which everybody pretty much says that's the NFL or the breeding ground for NFL.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even get that.
Right. And so you didn't even fit in college. Now you going from facing guys like, and I hate to keep bringing up BYU and who's in that Big 12, but you go from that to the NFL. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, let's say you had that, but you're not. You took a lot of sacks from Colorado. And it's like you can blame the offensive line, but some of it has to come down to you. Were you able to escape and improvise when the play broke down?
Did they play U of H and U of H in the Big 12?
I think, don't quote me.
Maybe it's down south or something.
Yeah,
like that. Okay.
But again, and it's like, I mean, if you're Cleveland, what are you doing extra for him being a 5th round pick? I mean, he'll sell jerseys. He's going to sell jerseys. People going to buy his jersey.
It's like take a number. It's like Johnny football.
Exactly. I mean, it's and it's not even though it's not the same staff, so we can't say even just as a whole franchise wise.
Swag that in Cleveland.
Right. And then franchise wise, they have not done a good job with quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's he's going to have to compete, but what is going to set him aside from everybody? He's not a freakish athlete. If he doesn't have time to make an accurate throw, what does he do? And not to be even more critical of him, but if you're sitting there at Cleveland, what does he do for us on a football field that he has to play?
Carry a clipboard. You know what I'm saying? Like
he came on too.
All right. So we got a special guest this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Man, we'll let Chuck introduce him, but we'll get him right into the topic because I'm pretty sure everybody wants to get in on this topic. But go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, straight up. Shout out to my big homie, man, 205 CEO, you know what I'm saying? He's fresh from Alabama, but he reside out here in Mo City Cat, you know what I'm saying? And me and him was rocking when we was at Mo City Radio. And when I told him I was doing Debate with Bake, he said, bro, I love sports. I got to get on the podcast, bro. Put me on. And so we brought him on. And so 205, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear y'all now. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got you live on the air right now, man. We on Debate with Bake. Welcome to the show. This is my bro.
What's up, Black man?
From years ago. Man, my bro Laro here, same tribe, you know what I'm saying? And so we welcome you to the show. And we just politicking right now about Shedeur Sanders and what's going on in Cleveland.
And let's get you right into it. I know you've been seeing all the national headlines. He slid all the way to the 5th round. He's now a Cleveland Brown. Let's go straight into it. What do you think? Tell us about what happened in terms of, do you think he's worthy of being a 5th round pick? And tell us, what do you think? Does he have any impact in the NFL this year?
First of all, I want to say thank y'all for, you know what I'm saying, allowing me on y'all platform. You see, I got my scope buffs on. I personally think that Shedeur he shouldn't have went the 5th round. I think it's a lot of ways you can look at this. I've heard a lot of people say, it was partly because of his father. It was partly because of him not being ready for the NFL. I even heard a theory of the NFL knew what they was doing by waiting to draft him 5th round, because who really tunes in to watch all the rounds? But because Shedeur didn't go off the board, everybody tuned in to watch all of the rounds. So I it's a bunch of theories. Me personally, I've been on Shedeur since he was probably, I seen a little bit of him at Truth, but I've definitely been on him ever since Jackson State. And I knew that and he was special. He was different, and not just because he was Deion kid. You get what I'm saying? I do think when I hear people say that, like, he not ready. I was just watching y'all a little bit right before I came on, and I hear a lot of people say, well, they don't think that he ready to, you know what I'm saying, be an NFL quarterback. But I disagree with that. I think that number one, he is not the most athletic quarterback. We know that. We definitely know that. I think that he's been groomed though mentally to be NFL quarterback. I think that he definitely is a pocket passer. He can move in the pocket. He's very accurate. I disagree with people when they say he doesn't have a strong arm. I kind of disagree with that. I've seen Shedeur, you know, throw outside of the numbers, throw all the way across the field. So I kind of disagree with that. But, you know, everybody has their own opinion. I think that when he gets to, okay, I think it was you said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. Advocate because it sounds like you had more of a in-depth look from Jackson State all the way to Colorado, University of Colorado. Now, me and Ro have both said before that we didn't think he was a first-round talent. Now, I do think it's a travesty that he slipped to the 5th round because, of course, there's not 5 quarterbacks that is better than him. It's not a deep quarterback draft anyway. So the fact that he went to the 5th round, yeah, that's crazy. But honestly, because we got to be honest about what we're looking at. And all we can do is look at what we have in front of us. We have Jackson State. That was a success in terms of bringing national recognition to their program. And they did a good job of winning down there. Okay, that's a different level. But no disrespect.
Did they win the SWAC, though?
I don't know. No disrespect.
They lost the bowl game.
Okay. So then he goes. They go to Colorado and they get a national ranking. I believe is in the top 25 for the first time in a long time. Colorado has been insignificant for years. Okay. The devil's advocate part for me, and what I'm saying to you is this: despite what he's done in Colorado, there has not been a performance that I've seen that's been good performance from him that I've seen that I said, okay, he can step into an NFL franchise right now and command the ship. Now, I agree with you. I think the quarterback knowledge, the well-groomed, I'm with you. I don't think his arm is weak as what people say. But on 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6, because here's the evidence. He's been sacked a lot of times. We can always go back and say, okay, his offensive line wasn't up to par. However, he wasn't playing against Georgia. He wasn't playing against Florida. He wasn't playing against Alabama. He wasn't playing against LSU. He wasn't playing against the powerhouses, and we watched him and the Buffs struggle. So my question to you and everybody else who's kind of quote unquote think he's NFL ready, if he didn't show us that against BYU, who else is in the Big 12? If he didn't show us that against them, how can we say he's NFL ready when we haven't seen the evidence doesn't show against the quote unquote NFL SEC? He didn't do it, and it's not. They didn't schedule those games, but we didn't see that against the Ohio State. We didn't see that against the Notre Dame. In fact, we've seen games where they've had most of their games have been close games in the Big 12, nowhere near the talent of the SEC. And then we want to sell that he's ready to step into the first round of the NFL draft, guaranteed money. How do y'all sell that to us who don't necessarily believe? Now, again, round is crazy to me. But first round, 3rd and 5, is he really a threat? Dual threat? And then we talking about defensive linemen who are 6'5", 275, 280, running 4.4s in the National Football League. I didn't see him break away from nobody in the Big 12. I didn't see him show me something athletic wise, because regardless of how well you are in the film room, and let's be honest, NFL has done a lot to keep the quote unquote pocket passer alive. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all those guys, they changed the rules on defense to keep those guys from being extinct. Because we all know, as fast as these defenses are, if you're not a dual threat.
Matter of fact, didn't Tom Brady work out with this kid a whole lot?
A lot. And the knowledge is there.
How did Las Vegas not take Shedeur?
That's what I said. But again, I posed that question to you because I'm playing devil's advocate. That's what the naysayers say.
You ask me?
Yep.
So I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Shedeur he is not a Michael Vick. He is not Lamar or Jalen Hurts even. He's not that at all. But I think that had he been in the SEC, I think that he probably number one would have had a better line. I gotta be honest. Let's be honest. It's a lot of sacks that he took that was on him. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be 100. Even though I'm a Shedeur fan, even though I rock with them, it was a couple sacks that it's a few sacks that I seen him like, get rid of the ball. I'm yelling at the TV, get rid of the ball. Me and my partner, we went to Colorado versus was this K-State? Because they lost that game. Travis Hunter got hurt. And it was a few plays on it. He tried to bring him back at the end, but it was a few plays on that. And I'm like, man, get rid of the ball. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he definitely. But I think that's coaching, though. I think that's something that is going to be worked out through coaching. You know, when you get to the next level, because it's going to be coaches going to be like, hey, what you did in Colorado holding that ball, you can't do that here, because that's a life or death decision in the NFL. Holding that ball too long, you get what I'm saying? So I think that's just something. But I think all of them have holes in their game that could be worked on. That's something to me that could be worked on. Now, like you said, you got to look at the likes of Tom Brady. You got to look at the likes of Aaron Rodgers. You got to look at the likes of Kirk Cousins. You got to look, and you know it's kind of funny naming them, and then you name Shedeur, but that's really just that's really, to me, his game. He is more of a pocket passer. The game has evolved to QBs being, you know, a dual threat, the Cam Newtons, the Lamar Jacksons, you know what I'm saying, the Jalen Hurts. But you still got, look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, definitely he got pieces around him, you know what I'm saying, that make him better. But Brock Purdy ain't no, you get what I'm saying? So I feel like Shedeur would be fine. I think he'll have a better line.
Because I needed a situation like that to take him into the Cleveland situation is what I got a problem with.
And that's not real in the first round, though.
See,
you see what I'm saying?
If he could have got Trevor Lawrence's job and been there with Travis Hunter with his partner, see, that'd have been sick. That'd have been sick opportunity for his
right.
You know, but I mean, he's gonna have to be able to be showcased at some point what he can do. Like you say, you made a good point. If he had even, say, transferred and played another year and hit the transfer portal right quick and went on and played with an O-line and one of them powerhouses, you know what I'm saying? That would have been an even better sample size. And this isn't me knocking the kid. I agree with you. Like I said, I really think he's got the goods. Don't get me wrong. He can definitely play on the next level. Right. But I think that the only fumble was assuming that you had the job already. And it was like a league-wide invite, really, interview for everybody. He put teams on notice, like, look, if you ain't trying to shake it up, don't even draft me. And that's just the only problem I had with what he had going on, because then it was about more than football. You allowed them to get away that you couldn't even get at. And now they don't like you because they think you an asshole. You're just a rich black asshole. You know what I'm saying? Think about how the white folks talk. So it's like, that's the only issue I had with, I mean, not even an issue, because it's like, I'm pulling for the kid. It was an absolute travesty. He went past round 3. I mean, that's clear case of them trying to mess with the kid's head and humble him. And it was good to see him even on the pro day after all that had transpired, after that dick from the Falcons, their son,
the son, right.
I sue them motherfuckers. I mean, you know, that's another story the other day.
Yeah,
but, man, you know, it was good to see the kid humble and appreciative of his opportunity. And it's like, it's impossible not to believe that, the kid up to something, and it just might work out for him. This might be the first thing Cleveland done right. So I'm pulling for him. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know, man.
I think Cleveland is a graveyard for quarterbacks, man. I don't know. I listen. Here's the thing. I told him, and I pose this to you too. Okay. I told him I thought Vegas would be a beautiful place, simply because when I look at Geno has the similar skill set. Geno is not a world beater as far as his athletic ability. However, Geno he studies a lot of film. And I just think Pete Carroll, anybody in the NFL, Geno is a starting quarterback.
Because Russ looked the same way in Seattle.
Right. And Russ has a little bit more athleticism.
That's true.
But I just thought underneath Geno, if there's a system put in for Geno, I think Shedeur could also do that. And even then, how much longer does Geno really have? You know what I'm saying? They signed him to a multi-year deal over there, but it ain't gonna be a lot.
They looked a lot similar.
That's what I'm saying.
West Virginia and Colorado.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like Vegas would have been a perfect place. Let them be a backup, because whatever packages they putting in for Geno, I mean, Shedeur should be the same, right? It's going to be the same package, and maybe Shedeur can do a little bit more.
He could have made it where Milroe made it. Now that you mentioned that, though, too, he could have made it in Seattle.
Maybe so.
Old job.
So maybe so. Well, they just signed old boy. They gave him a 3-year deal.
That's right.
I can't think of the kid's name. The white dude. I can't think of his name. And I hate that. Yeah, Sam Darnold went over there. So again, I don't know, man. I think the kid can play in the NFL. It's just that I don't like people to say, well, he should have went the first round. Man, I don't know, because
there's ain't nothing wrong going in round 3 now.
Exactly.
All that money guaranteed.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong going in no round, because it's a. But see, that's the thing though. Like, again, I'm a fan of it, so I watch it. I even shout out to Deion Jr. because I watch Well Off. I'm a big fan. I drive a truck, so that in my break time and stuff overnight, that's what I do. And but I have heard Shedeur saying throughout the season, like, I'm just happy to get my name called. You get what I'm saying? On one interview, somebody asked him about him being the first pick or going in the first round. I think at the time it was the first pick, because that's my thing. To me, it's crazy how all of a sudden now he ain't good enough. But all season,
right,
he was the number one projected pick. But he said then, I think they were asking him who would go first between him and Trav, and he was like, "Bro, I don't really care as long as my name be called." He's like, I don't even care. I even remember during the time of the Heisman, everybody had put him in at Heisman at first, and then when it came out, it was kind of going more to Trav. He was like, "Shoot, Trav win, I win. That's my brother." Out of your hand. Like, I think that's another thing that affected him. What I mean is how an anonymous source says, "Oh, he wasn't prepared. Oh, he wasn't." How do you get to say that? Because you knew you was going to speak that into the media and stir up the media and stir up the fans, or
right.
Ever have you to stir up a conversation, but you can do that. But I feel like if you got the testicles to say, "Oh, he wasn't ready,"
put your name on it. You got to stand on that.
Yeah, put your name. You know what I'm saying? I didn't appreciate that because I feel like to me, Cam Ward is a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't see no quarterback outside of Cam Ward on this year's draft is better than. And I'm not even really trying to be funny, Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And then here's the thing. At the end of the day, I mean, and I don't know this, but it sounds crazy to me. I mean, what Heisman candidate got picked in the 5th round? You know, like that's wild.
Yeah, but besides like a case, catching the case right before the combine,
Yeah.
something, you know what I'm saying?
But I mean,
Yeah.
just
You got
legitimately,
Lawrence Phillips to
like
thank.
that's if you think about that, that's crazy.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm
that was
saying?
clear. That
Like,
was
Right.
Heisman candidate. I mean, and I know, you know, some people say, well, you know, the season is swayed because, you know, the national coverage on Deion and them, but let's just be real. 5th round is crazy, you know. But I mean, we'll see,
Yes,
man.
yeah.
I don't like the fact I don't like Cleveland, but you know, it is what it is.
Mhm.
He comes from, you know,
The fact that Cleveland chose another quarterback before him.
but that's Cleveland.
Dylan
That's why
Gabriel.
they don't
Yeah.
win. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Cleveland has been, you know, listen, they've been a graveyard for quarterbacks. Like, you know, I don't even read into it. It's like if I go to Cleveland, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna be trying to get out of there anyway. Like, if they don't play me, do I really look bad judged on their history? Do I really look bad on what they've been? Like, when's the last time they've had a legit franchise quarterback? And don't worry, I'll wait. Barney Kosar? Exactly. Nobody knows. Nobody's even serious. So it's like, even for Shedeur, it's like, come on, it's really Cleveland. You can say that now, but you know, if it don't work out in Cleveland, it's like, well, you know what? It's been plenty of people that's left Cleveland, whether you're a quarterback or not.
Like you said, and even if it does work out in Cleveland, you got Joe Cool out there.
Yeah, you got the AFC North that you got to deal with, you know. But at the end of the day, man, you know, we'll see what's up. All right, Chuck, do we got enough time? I know you like to go to a sponsor segment. Can we get into this Shannon Sharpe thing?
Yeah. Let's get into that.
Let's go right into it.
We do Shannon and we come back in prospects.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And here's the thing, like I don't even really know how to report this. But if you haven't seen by now, I guess there's allegations of sexual assault. I don't want to say rape. I don't know the particulars of it, but the way the picture has been painted is that Club Shay, Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Fame tight end that played at Baltimore as well as Denver, the Baltimore Ravens and the Denver Broncos. He is decided to step down from ESPN amidst all the allegations of him, I'm going to say, having an inappropriate relationship with the young lady. Now, there's been a lot of reports, and again, we don't know what's really true or not, but basically there's been a consensus saying that he had an inappropriate relationship with the young lady that at the time some people say he was 54 years old and she was 19 years old. Allegedly, they met at a gym where Shannon was training at. And some comments got released on the air with the conversation between him and a young lady saying that he would, quote unquote,
big back babies and all kind of crazy
right,
shit.
quote unquote, he would choke the shit out of her the next time he sees it. It sounds like they had a disagreement. I didn't want to say it like that, but that's the facts. You know, that's what's being said. It's for me, it's two things. Like, first of all, it's hard to report this because here's the thing. It's like, man, it's seen. And then out of everything that's going on, what's behind this, you know, this victim is Tony Busby.
Yes.
You know, who's been known
the elephant in the room.
Who's been known for going after, you know, African American males, in particular in sports. We see him behind Deshaun Watson and even African American males outside of sports and entertainment, music industry. Jay-Z was one. I think he was also a part of the Diddy lawsuits, which is still pending. However, and
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson. Right. That's the most famous and most recent one we've kind of came on the tail end of. But however, Unc has decided to step down from ESPN, and he said he's coming back when football season starts. But there was audio played of him saying that he will, quote unquote, choke the shit out of her the next time this alleged,
rendezvous.
Yeah, right. So here's the thing, Chuck, man. It's hard to report on this, but I have to talk about it because it's like, first of all, there's a lot of reports saying that this was a consensual relationship, which in hindsight, on the little bit of facts that we have now, it does seem like it's a consensual relationship. There's other factors that people are talking about. Shannon's getting ready to sign a big deal. And then all of a sudden, this comes about. Then there's reports that Shannon had already offered her $10 million, which she reportedly refused. This is a difficult topic because at the end of the day, my heart of hearts, and it's not, and everybody gonna say this because, well, you just saying it because he's a black man. I'm not just saying it. I'm just saying that to me, you're innocent until proven guilty. However, I gotta ask you this, and I gotta ask my man that's on here because I already like the way you talking, but it's like I do have an issue with Shannon because at the end of the day, it's like, and listen, let me say this. Let me get this out there right now. Shannon Sharpe can afford, let's just get it out in the open. Shannon Sharpe can afford to mess with a young lady this young because guess what? He's in shape. He works out. So you can understand, oh yeah, I'm 50 years old. I'm still attracting 19-year-old females. However, the issue I have is Shannon, clearly y'all are having sex, okay? But clearly you spending time with her. For you to be able to have this conversation with her, which means y'all ain't just having sex, y'all going to wherever y'all go, wherever y'all hanging out, you picking her up, y'all getting something to eat. So my question to Shannon is, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
It's the dirty laundry. And the thing is, it's the willingness to get the sound bites out there to have the audio transcript.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What is the conversation like? Like, bro, let's be honest, man. Like back in the day, we've all dated somebody that's not the same age, same race. But let's just talk about, could you imagine dating somebody who, when they were born, you had a full driver's license, checkbook.
You might have been in the league.
You might have been in the league. You know what I'm saying?
You were running through her mamas and aunties.
Right. And so my question to Shannon is, what were y'all talking about?
Some vile.
Because what can you talk about with a 19-year-old and you like 54?
That's that grooming shit, bro. To be all honest with you.
Right.
I'm just talking about I'm gonna put a big black baby in you.
You
I'm
feel
gonna do
like,
that. I'm gonna knock your head, like I'm gonna tie you. They was having raunchy talk because that's the only thing they had in common.
Exactly. What is these conversations like? Because that's why I'm like, man, you looking bad because I get it.
Shout out to the old head. Shout out to like Charles. You supposed to go get you a old hoe, paid her a couple of little pennies, and been done with that. That shit had this shit buried. You ain't got a 19, 20-year-old spring chicken,
and you hanging out.
You hanging out. You
kicking it,
super kicking, and you.
What are y'all talking about?
And you like famous, but then washed at the same time. Like I said, I'm dead ass serious. Like I said, I love Unc. Don't get me right. Like look, like Ocho, Unc, all y'all don't even. I don't need no smoke. But it's like at the end of the day, nigga wasn't worried about what you doing with your old meat, my boy. Like, come on, man. Like. But these kids have something they can believe in still, and you politicking, you telling them Monique, and you always about how you can get some young. Like, yeah, Trick Daddy, you can get you some young pink. Everybody get them some young pink, but bro, it was supposed to be that way like this. Right as you were signing for your re-up, man, you just made your money right. You done had cat on there, you done paid dues. You feel me? Like think about all them Club Shay episodes. You done paid dues and built this thing from the mud. And only to let it falter by. So
let me ask y'all both this. Does he recover from this?
I'm gonna let guess take that one.
You said, does he recover from this? Is that the question you asked?
Yeah. And if he does, how?
Yeah, here I'm gonna tell you why I think he will recover from this. Not necessarily not with Disney. He does. I don't think that Disney is gonna keep him on. No, but the fact that he has platforms that he owns, that's his, and he can control the narrative from that, I think so. Because again, like I told you, I watch Nightcap, and it, even though this is going on, they still been jumping. Them numbers still been. If anything, they probably going up. So I think yeah and no. I don't think professionally he gonna recover with it from Disney because I don't. Disney, you know how they is with you know, they let go
Right.
of Michael Irvin. Michael
And I
Irvin
was
didn't
gonna
even
bring-
do nothing. You
and
get
I was
what I'm
gonna
saying?
bring
So
that up.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up about Disney because if they allow him to stick around, they got to bring back Matt Barnes. They got to bring back Michael Irvin. Paul Pierce. They got to bring all them back. Like if you're gonna bring him back, they have to bring all them back. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's just unfortunate, man, because it's like Shannon with the Cat Williams interview, and that's the thing. I'm a big boxing fan. I just got through watching. He had an excellent interview with Terrence Crawford, right? You know, and so it's just like it's unfortunate because right. And here's the thing: what's so bad about this is that we had somebody other than Stephen A. And I don't knock Stephen A. I think Stephen A. is great. I think Stephen A. has stood 10 toes. I don't always agree with Stephen A. But Shannon was more what I want to say, more
relatable.
close to home in terms of
He was Unc. He was
right.
relatable.
He was Unc, right, and we needed that. We needed that in our. We needed. And Stephen A. was starting to break into politics. He was starting to break into lines. But Stephen A. is really basketball and the ESPN Day show. So Unc, you know, credit to his podcast and all that. But Unc was the show that you could have.
He had his hands in
Terrence
everything.
Crawford on, then Monique. Unc was the show that you could have. You know,
Jello ball.
Right. Gilly and Wallow, and then you could come back, you know, Monique. So it's unfortunate, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, like he kind of did it to himself, and then it don't help the fact that he already had a previous sex tape out there, well, the moaning and groaning and all that, and then it's obvious, I guess, amongst the ABC community, Disney, that he had already had an allegation when he came in. I just feel bad for Unc, but at the same time, man, I you know, I don't know, man. You gotta be. Sometimes I wonder, and people don't get mad at me for this, but sometimes I wonder, Chuck, like athletes, and I think this is with Deshaun Watson. I think this is with Unc. It's like, I'm gonna say Deshaun Watson. I'm gonna lay off Unc a little bit, but it's like, for me, Deshaun Watson growing up, and they both from Georgia. I just thought about that. No, I'm not disrespecting Georgia. I just thought about it. It just hit me. Listen. It ain't got nothing to do. I love Georgia. I'm not taking no shots at Georgia. It just hit me. Sometimes when you podcast and you just speak, you know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. What I wonder about Deshaun Watson in his situation, and maybe the same thing with Unc, is like, man, these dudes, they got to spend so much time honing their craft. And I'm looking at Unc. Well, let me go. I'm going to stay with Deshaun Watson. It's like, man, you must have been playing so much football that you never experienced really dating girls.
And I could see that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I got from Deshaun Watson. It's like, man, could you imagine? No, seriously though, it sounds funny, but listen. You grew up in Georgia. You've been playing football. That's what you've been doing. That's why you that good. You know what I'm saying?
You've been in
the lab. You go to Clemson and you might get a little bit of a fetish. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think Deshaun Watson fetish, it had to happen before. Then you get unleashed into the fourth largest city in the nation
with bread,
and you get a $250 million contract. So that exactly. And at the end of the day, whatever you are, we all got fetishes. We all got things that we like. And then it's like, I can look at Deshaun Watson like, where's your homeboys? Why ain't nobody screening nobody for you?
You need a strong man.
You know what I'm saying? I can look at Unc like, Unc, man, like, you supposed to know better than that. You 50 plus years old.
Feel me?
Where is your
entourage on the phone?
Because here's the thing. I think about this, and this might not be a good example. I know I'm going off in the left field, but y'all just feel me on this. This is a special edition of Debate with Baby. But here's the thing. It's like this. I look at Hugh Hefner. Okay. Some people say that's not a good example. He's white. I look at Hugh Hefner. Even LeBron. LeBron has a structure around him. His homeboys. Not saying he did anything dirty, but you got to get through that protective shield.
Oh yeah, the NBA is notorious.
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
but not even the NBA. I just think LeBron has got a group around him His homeboys, Rich Paul, they
Day
protect him.
Day ones, yeah.
Right. They protect him.
You can't get Bron on the phone.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like,
so let alone, if he going somewhere, not saying he messing around or nothing like that, but it's gonna be screen where he going. He's got a network to protect him. Hugh Hefner, you go to the Playboy Mansion, you sign this disclosure form,
NDA.
your phone stay at the front door. Okay, we having fun in here. And if it get out that you reported something that we didn't want you to report, you getting sued. So that's my question to some of these dudes is like, Unc, you 50 years old. You on the TV single day. People are coming to you. You at the gym. You feeling yourself. I get it. You can feel
different echelon of hype though.
And I get it. And I'm not telling him not to be. And I know I'm going all over the place. I'm not telling him not to be. You feeling good. You looking good. That's a compliment. You a 50-year-old man and 19-year-old chicks is like, you know what I'm saying? But Unc, it never crossed your mind that, okay, all right, we know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it never crossed their mind like, it might look funny for me to be out here with her.
You feel me?
Even though I'm single and it's legal.
And that's the thing. Like B King, you know what I mean? Get that bread, get that head.
Exactly. Or when is exactly. Or when is that awkward moment where it's like she called you, and when she get comfortable with you, she a young chick. She like, yeah, what's up with my money? And it's like, whoa.
Oh, she told him 25,000 cheek.
Exactly. And you was okay with that? You entertain that?
Right, you want to play these games, you want to play them games.
Exactly. Like, even then, if she got to that point, it's like, wait a minute now. You can't say that. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you feel comfortable saying that, I don't want to play with you anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not funny. Because I got to think about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just awkward to me, man.
It sets a bad precedent.
Exactly.
Even in terms of your dealings with the young lady, it's like once you let it go there and they nip that shit in the bud, that was finna burn into an inferno.
Exactly.
Anyway. So,
exactly.
You should have had that motherfucker dealing with Luther from Georgia. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Whoever the fuck your do dirt nigga is. Like,
exactly.
What the fuck? How you on the phone with her?
And then
you ain't even got to speak to her.
And then you got daughters. It never occurred to you or son, like, hey, y'all know what? In my mind, I'm not saying it out loud. I'm actually messing with a chick that's the same age as my son. Does that not feel weird to you that your son might holler at her?
You feel me?
Did you ever go somewhere and you seen her and your son ain't know who you was messing with? He was like, oh, she nice. Because that probably came up. And you might tap your son like, hey,
that's me.
That's me.
That's me, boy.
That ain't feel awkward.
We're going to Disney World next week. Like,
Exactly. Stop. You know what I'm saying? So
I thought about that originally about his daughter, because I don't know if y'all remember, but the day that he left FS1, he brought his daughter on set.
That's right.
He brought his daughter on set, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, his daughter probably older than her. I wonder how she feels. She probably like, wow, put pause on this girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I definitely thought about that.
And then it fundamentally, man, it's you can look at it, but you also got to look at it like, look, I got bread. You know what I'm saying? Right. I got too much bread. It's certain places I can't go. It's certain people I shouldn't be seeing.
There's certain things I can't be seen.
I can't be a part of.
This is bad for my brand.
Right.
This is bad for the Shay
And no
brand.
matter how much fun I want to have, it's not a good look for me. I'm on the TV, I'm on the TV every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's wild, man.
And the fact that he tried to pay $10 million hush money,
and that don't look good.
Yeah, that's almost an admission of guilt.
You know he was fired. You know he felt some type of way about that. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Think about it. You having a conversation, you vibing, you green, your nose and shit open. The motherfucker get to spit numbers at you doing calculus and shit. It's like, I ain't even go to but 2 years of college. What's wrong with you? Like, hell no. Let me go and send you a flower basket and some cards and be done with that. You know what I'm saying?
He should have known.
Give us some tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like, click like and subscribe. Goddamn.
Because then you when she that young, man, you got to entertain, Is you buying real gifts or you buying hot chips?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? What is you know?
And she run a mile. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
That's how Busby got a hold to it, Prattling and everything. It's like she been running a mile from here to
exactly. But anyway, Chuck, let's get into the sponsor segment or the prize picks. Whatever you want to do, Chuck. I know we got a little bit off kilter with debate with Bake, but it's some things that had to be aired out tonight.
Shame on you.
For sure.
Shame on you.
So I think we all in agreement there with what Ro just said. Shame on you,
Right.
All right.
We can't defend you on this. We tried to. We really did.
Baby. Like I said, I hope my folk right. I hope my Alabama
It's
folk
legal,
right. And I
right.
hope you bounce back on them other streams and them other networks, you know.
Right.
Do it. I wish you the best, but you shouldn't have made that mistake. It ain't have to be that hard, my boy.
It ain't even.
Yeah.
It ain't no way we can justify that, man. All right, let's go and then let's do our picks and then let's get into some
Men's Fragrance, your home for 100% authentic men's cologne. We carry high-end fragrances like Creed, YSL, Gucci, Polo, and more with below retail prices. All orders come with free shipping. Order online at men's-fragrance.net. Men's Fragrance. Smell good for less. Yo, rep the movement with Mo Serious Fashions. Copy your fresh snapback or hoodie or a tee, all representing the Mo City Podcast, Debate with Bake, or Gloves Up, Guns Down. Everything is custom made with love from our top-notch manufacturers. We got a dope range of colors and sizes to fit your vibe. Everything from blue, red, green, black, white, and more. Rep the Mo and keep it fresh, fam. Hit up moseries.com/merchandise and order today. Let's go.
Stop. It's COVID, flu, and RSV season. Boost your immune system now.
Fortress was developed to provide key ingredients that provide such aid to the body's immune mechanisms.
So how do I fight COVID, the flu, and RSV?
So our job isn't to defend ourselves from things, it's to help support our body's natural immune system to begin with. And when you look at Fortress, that's exactly what we're after. Individually sourced ingredients that have been demonstrated to support our natural immune system and help our bodies just do a good job at what they're naturally meant to do. And that's why Fortress is a very nice combination of these independently sourced ingredients that can help support a healthy immune system.
Learn more about Fortress and natural ways to boost your immune system by clicking the link.
All right. You can check out all those products and all of those things that you just saw on moserious.com. Shout out to all of them for sponsoring not only Debate with Bake podcast, but also the rest of the acts on Mo Serious. All right, Chuck, let's get into our prize picks on tonight's game. And I think we're staying home with the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors, right? We're in game 4, correct, Chuck?
Yeah, so this is game 4 in Golden State. Jimmy Butler is supposed to be back tonight. And so we're gonna rock with the prize picks. So let's let me bring 205 back in as well.
And 205 help us with this, man, because listen, we already know you know sports, but we need your help because it's like we just won. I mean, we win every now and then, but we have not been on a good streak when it comes to betting. So make sure you add your 2 cents in when we get into this. Because
all right, so the way prize picks works, we're gonna pick 6 players. I like to get 3 from the Rockets and 3 from Golden State, right? And then we'll put $5 up and see what we can make. So with that being said, how y'all feel about Sengun having more than 20 points?
I like it.
I think that's easy money.
I like it.
I like it.
Bake, how you feeling?
No.
It's already majority rule. Chuck, you know I done had this conversation with you and Ro before we got on the air. I am not confident in these dudes. If y'all want to take that, it's 3-1. Y'all can take that. I'm out on Sengun and Jalen Green. Y'all, you know, hey man, my man Green had 7 points the other night. I'm not betting. I'm taking up everything. So 3-1. Man, y'all want to take 20 plus from Sagoon? That's perfect.
For those that didn't see my man face on camera, he straight gave us the red, Fox Fred sound for you, big dummy.
Listen, I am out. Because here's the thing, man, and I hate to keep saying this, but when we talked about them getting these new contracts, and I thought the Rockets were head on, they gave them 3-year deals, Green and Sagoon. Everybody was like, not y'all, but everybody was like, no, why they didn't give them 5-year deals? Well, y'all seeing it now. So
right,
3-1. Speaking of Jalen, do you think he good for 19 points?
No.
Shit. Yeah.
I feel like he gonna need a 30 piece for them to win.
Yeah. I mean, he threw a 30 at him the other day, and then judging by the last night, he got to do it for them niggas to do something. But the history ain't good. The track record ain't good. It's like the sample size just too small, man. I ain't got enough for them boys to get old right now, man. It's like to go lower is to say we're gonna lose tonight.
Exactly,
so I don't want to be the one that says, "Look, man, what Fred VanVleet gonna do? What Dylan Brooks gonna
Lord
do?"
have mercy. Oh, please leave them alone. Let's just stick with the superstars. Lord have mercy. Woo, Fred VanVleet, man.
What about Amen? Amen got a good one. I know Amen got a good one.
I would go with him, but Fred, you know what? Let me tell you something. Listen, man, I've been on this weight loss journey, and Fred make me feel like I can get me a 10-day, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm like, wow. Like, it's like, man,
it's Fred good for 4 assists.
I'm staying away from Fred. Fred might not even play. You know what I'm saying? He don't need to play. I think they should go to big backcourt. Hey, let A-Man handle and let Jalen handle, man. I am good. Bring in Holiday. Not on the gambling.
Bring in Whitaker is what they should have bought. When Jalen was tripping, wasn't doing nothing, I'd have bought Cam in. Anyway, let me refocus.
Whitmore, yeah.
All right, so let's look at Alvin Thompson, right?
Okay.
Y'all think he's good for 1 3-pointer?
Yes.
I like that.
I am 100% with that versus VanVleet. Easily.
Yeah, he should definitely hit 1 3.
You know, Shingun, we got one with Amen. Somebody said Dylan.
I'm not in on Dylan.
Dylan Brooks doing what?
Green. What's the props?
I could do Green if y'all want. I ain't Dylan that dude. I mean, I love the way he play defense, but I'm not putting nobody on him. Period, man. I mean,
how many points does it say he's supposed to have? Dylan Brooks.
All right, so Dylan Brooks,
half a steal.
12 points. Do we think he's gonna be higher or lower than 12 points?
Lord, I'll take Jalen Green here in the 19 for Dylan Brooks at 12. That's sad to say, but this is what it is.
Yeah, that might be.
I kind of agree with that.
That might be right.
Hold on, guys. Let me get my chart.
All right, so that's Shingun, that's Amen, and that's Jalen. All right, let's see here.
We going to Golden State now?
Yeah, Chef Curry.
Yeah, because I'm out on the Rockets, man.
Yeah, I think he's good for at least 4 3-pointers. Still,
I would say less. They gonna run him up off the
Man, he shot up 14 of them mugs last game.
He be hitting. Yeah, he good for it. He good for it.
I think that's the easy.
Don't even take it away from him. Yeah, he good.
I mean, if he don't get, they definitely losing. If he don't get that, I mean,
yeah,
he do that in his sleep. You know, that's a safe bet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In fact, I can't believe they gave that.
Well, they had a Green Goblin by, so that was easy money.
Okay, yeah.
They're gonna run at least 2 screens just to get him to throw the ball. They you know what I'm saying? He good for that.
Y'all think Draymond good for about 5 assists?
Yeah.
But yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Or 9 points.
I like the assist better.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'll take the assist over the points.
That's gonna be super, bro. Super, bro. I was like, how you hit half for 3, my boy?
Hey, who's the What about fouls? I go in with Draymond on fouls.
Hey, half of 3 is diabolical. That's funny.
Jimmy's back, right?
Yeah, Jimmy back.
Okay.
So we'll take
I mean,
play out Jimmy.
Yeah, Draymond. Lord have mercy. Man. I mean, he could get 5 assists. I mean,
all right, Jimmy Butler, we think he's good for more than 20 points.
How healthy is he? Is he 100%?
Question.
He got a horribly bruised glute or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so
is
I
there
don't think
anything else other than points?
But you know what
Yeah,
they
you
say?
think he's good for 6 rebounds?
They say that the last time he injured this, though, he had the same injury. He took Miami on to that final that year. You know what I'm saying? Like in the bubble or something.
It's
like
so hard with Jimmy because he is capable
crazy.
of doing
Yeah,
it.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So the easy money for him is 5 assists. The easy money for him is 1 3-pointer.
I like that.
That's 1 3-pointer.
I go higher.
For Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I say higher.
Well, he do shoot them threes.
I've seen him knock a couple down
in this series.
In this series, I haven't seen him knock them down.
He has done that. All right, so
They
he
got
ain't gonna
no
leave him
goblin
out
next to that, right? On that 3-pointer.
Yeah, we went higher.
Okay.
All right, so man, shout out to Prize Picks. We about to bet $5 for the chance to win $150.
Okay.
Oh no, Screw.
For tonight's
I like
game.
that. Matter of fact, I feel semi good about that. We went on got with Jalen on that 19 point.
Yeah, we did.
Ooh,
Yeah,
buddy.
we did.
All right.
No wonder it's a
Yeah.
pass like that, boy. Hey.
Shout out to Prize Picks for that. All
Shout
right,
out to him.
let's go ahead and get into the playoff picture a little bit. Let's talk about this because I think we got a lot. We got 3 people here that we can get a lot out of. All right, let's talk about this. I've been itching to talk about this series. It's not the popular series, but I want to merely point out something in terms of it's a realization that I'm coming to, and as much as I don't like it, I have to give credit to this organization as much. And I have been on this podcast criticizing the Los Angeles Clippers because I felt like as much as Kawhi Leonard has been missing, they should have moved on. Well, they made me look crazy, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have agreed because I'm of the sound mind that, you know, if you're not there, what can I do with you? If you're averaging 20 points a game and you're not there, that changes the whole chemistry of your team. But with that being said, I think they're going to win this series. And the reason why I think they're going to win this series is that I think Kawhi Leonard has looked just as good as he's ever looked. Whether we go back to Toronto years, which some people might say that's the height of his powers. Some people say that San Antonio was the height of his powers. Wherever you want to think about it, his career up to this point has been plagued by injuries. And it made me wonder, like, why would the Clippers stick with him? Well, it's paying dividends now. To me, my opinion, I think they win this series because I think Denver has no answer for him. And when I say no answer for him, I'm saying not just offensively. I think defensively, he matches up and he gives them a lot of leeway that somebody that scores the amount of points scores usually don't give you. So I think even this sounds crazy, but the Clippers are not that stacked on defense, but because of him, they can slide him. Not saying it's a difference in the ball game, but they can slide him on a Joker. They can slide him on a Gordon because he does give you something on defense. I just think he has changed the trajectory of this team. Even though he hasn't played a whole season, his impact right now, I don't know how old he is, Chuck, but he might be in his early 30s, mid-30s at that. He looks great right now. And I'm not speaking to the theory of load management. I'm not going for that. I'm not saying, yeah, you should sit out a long time. But listen, I have been on this podcast being on the Clippers for 1,000% with 33 years old. Okay. Now.
He's everything that KD is not.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Much like Jimmy, he's doing a lot of things good. He's a matchup problem on defense if you guard him. But think about the Clippers. They don't have much. Harden has accepted his role of a 20-point scorer, maybe a double-digit assist. They've got Norman Powell, and they've got the big kid in the middle who's doing well. I think he's a candidate for comeback player of the year or something like that.
Maybe all defense the first.
Maybe all defense anyway. But think about that. They don't have much beyond that. I think Denver, quote unquote, on paper, they're deeper than the Clippers.
Definitely.
But look at what the Clippers are doing. And the series is not over. I could look crazy next week. I just have been impressed with Kawhi Leonard.
I think the claw is back.
Yeah.
The claw is back.
And even then, you know, I used to get upset about the comparisons to Jordan. But if you look closely, the 15-foot jump shot that where he can pull up from anywhere. Whereas Jordan got into his career older when he wasn't so much going to the basket dunking, he became the master of the 15-foot jump shot. Kawhi Leonard has done that. And the thing about that shot is it's unguardable. You don't know when somebody's going to pull up. He can pull up from the left. He can pull up from the right. He's knocking down threes, open threes. And much like Jordan, the post game is there. And so when I saw them play Denver the other night, I think they blow out Denver. They beat them by a sizable deficit.
When they won, they might have beat them by 30.
Yeah, and I sort of saw the air go out of Denver's place. I just been impressed with the Clippers, y'all.
You feel me? Denver has won one game by a tip dunk at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, all them games been.
So I haven't been able to watch this series as much as just do the work and stuff, but I try to catch the highlights. Things of that nature. What I can say about Kawhi though is Kawhi really kind of he the how you put it. To me, Kawhi the sleeping giant.
Exactly.
He the guy that and the thing about it is he's been consistent really this whole time, but he due to injuries and due to I think moving around, players moving around, I think he was kind of I think he kind of threw him off of it. But if Kawhi in that mode, he really unstoppable. What I saw, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, if James Harden is consistent with the 20 points as you saying, and he consistent just commanding the floor, Kawhi can handle. He kind of can handle the rest of it. Exactly. So, I in my opinion, I take the Clippers just because I like Kawhi. So yeah.
And think about this, bro. I told you this before, and Blah, I want to see if you agree with this. I've always thought, and I harp on this. I've always thought that James Harden is a second or third option player. Now, people gonna say you crazy. His big numbers in Houston, yeah, but we didn't win anything like that. I think what James Harden is doing, it's not the same as Oklahoma City as far as in Oklahoma City, he really was a scoring option off the bench.
Right.
However, it looks different now with the Clippers because he's running the point. He's setting up a lot of things. But again, I think you get the best out of him, meaning shooting percentage is not that high. You know, in Houston, he was in a D'Antoni system. It was all about volume of shots. You know what I'm saying? And I always was suspect, can you win like that? You know, because it's just a lot of
them shots not going
and then much like what I get on Green about, you know, in the playoffs when Harden's not getting those free throws, when he's not getting those calls, we didn't see 55-point games in the playoffs. We started seeing 15-point games in the playoffs. But with that being said, I think Harden is at best what he's doing right now. I think this preserves his career because we're not asking you to go out and give us
superstar. Asking him to finish.
Right. Yeah. We asking you to set us up and you can still shoot. You still make good open shots. Every now and then we need a basket.
And get this big fella involved.
And get big fella involved. Run that pick and roll. And like you said, Kawhi take care of the rest on
we need you to close.
Right.
We're gonna go to Kawhi.
Right. And if you get double, Kawhi is a great enough passer.
Right.
And you can knock down open shots. Powell can knock down open shots because they really don't have much besides those 3 or 4 players we named.
I think we've been starved for this Kawhi for so long that we forgot that at the height of his powers, that's a championship.
That's what he was. Yeah, right. That's right.
At the height of his powers, that's a championship.
Exactly.
Right.
I've been most impressed with him in the first round. I think he's back. I think the Clippers, if they get past this first round, I think Denver is. I'm not going to say they're done. I just have a lot of questions about them. I mean, firing your coach 4 games before the playoffs is wild to me.
It ain't even fair to the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of y'all just got him
It's
fired
wild
by
to me.
default?
I didn't like.
What was that, Rick Adelman's son?
Yeah. I didn't like the interaction I saw from Jokic and his teammates the other night on the bench. Might not be nothing. Just the body language didn't look well. All right, let's talk about. I mean, we could talk about the New York series, but since the Rockets are playing tonight, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Rockets. Now, I want both of y'all to comment on this, and we'll start with you, Block.
205.
Yeah. 205. I keep calling you Block. I want to call you Block, but it is 205. My fault. I keep wanting to say Block 205. That's my bad. That's anyway.
I don't know who that is.
You tell me this tonight. What do the Rockets do to win this game, both offensively and defensively? And then we'll go to roll. And you can start either way, offense or defense or whatever you think. How do they win tonight? What is the scouting report?
Defensively, it's gonna be hard to keep Steph off 3, but you're gonna have to. I don't know how, because the way Golden State run, like I said when we was talking about him getting the 4-3, I'm like, they gonna run 2 picks for him just to come around, grab the ball. So, but that's it, right? That's it. You gotta whoever is on Steph is gonna have to know that they setting this up for him to do this. So you got to be a step ahead of them. If that makes any sense,
right?
I don't know if I'm seeing it in my mind. I don't know if I'm articulating it.
It's clear. It's definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Because that running handoff, you're gonna have to stop that. Offensively, just score more points. I don't know what to tell y'all, man. I ain't gonna see it. Like, score more points, man. Jalen Green, you gotta be confident in your game, and it's the playoff time. Yeah. It's time for you to show why you supposed to be you in Houston. You dig what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
Bro, what you got?
No, them facts, man. Jalen Green can't play like Draymond Green. I like it because I don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as limiting Steph, it's like, good luck, because it's always
good luck. Yeah.
You got to run at him by committee. You got to be ready for them handouts. You got to be ready to jump out there. I mean, it's just a real mixed bag. As a matter of fact, you almost got to be prepared to deal with that to a certain degree.
That's what I was
right.
You almost got to spot him 25.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't want him to go crazy because 25 turned to 45 quick. He started hitting them retarded shits and shimmying every goddamn.
Right. Okay. Or shooting and turning around before it go in.
You know what I'm saying? Putting us to bed and all that shit. I don't want to wake the kid up at all. Like, but since this is a must-win game for us tonight.
Right.
We're gonna have to do that double big lineup a lot more too. We're gonna have to. Matter of fact, we're gonna have to have the murder lineup and bring Jabari in there with Tyree and Steven Adams.
That's what I want to talk about.
Somebody like we got some different little kinks and tools in the toolbox where we can overwhelm them. Because see, we on the road as well, so we got to deal with the ball. The 3 ball might not fall tonight. You know what I'm saying? We got to be prepared for that. And we living and dying by the 3, which has always been detrimental.
Right.
And I think that we need to go huge. If we can control the glass and get every rebound out there tonight, you know what I'm saying? On the offensive glass, that should be enough to keep us very close in a game where we got the wild cards like Jimmy's and the rest of them going on. But I think that's the way. I think we can go huge, punish them inside, get a lot of high percentage shots, a lot of second chance points, and just get out and run when we can.
Right. I think y'all both made some excellent points. Let me just add to this. Man. This is what I think. I think the Rockets need to make this adjustment. I think tonight, Van Fleet sits on the bench. And what I mean by that is that I think for Steph, it's 2 things. I think y'all both brought up great awareness in terms of we do have to address Steph.
You thinking defensively?
I'm thinking defensively first. Because here's the thing. Here's what I need. In proven time, and I'll go back to our run when we were that close to beating them was Harden and CP3. And I want to also talk about the Cleveland run when they did beat them, meaning Golden State with Kyrie and LeBron. One of the things you have to do to Steph Curry, and I'm not sure if we can do this, but I'm going to bring this up. One of the things you have to do with him is make him play defense. He does not like to play defense. He'll try. He's not like Luka where he won't try. I just think his feet are not that well. What the Cavs did and what that Rocket team did to him was they put him in a pick and roll. And whoever guarded he was guarding, they went at him. We saw Kyrie and LeBron do it first, and then we saw James and CP3 do it. You have to run him a little bit on defense. That's how you get him, because you got to get him moving his feet, get his legs going. Now, I don't think the Rockets have that, but what I propose first is let's get Van Fleet out. Let's get a man, and I think the Rockets should think about this in the future. Let's get a backcourt with A-Man and Green. Let's get a long, athletic backcourt that's going to run him, because he's got to guard one of them. And if they want to put him on a third guard,
and he has trouble with size.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's bring in Eason. Let's bring in Jabari. Let's go 3 big guards. Let's make him move, but let's make him uncomfortable with length. Okay, because we're not going to be able to get through some of them handoffs. We're going to have to spot him 20 points. He's going to make some shots. And like you said, Ro, they're going to draw up plays. They're going to do things to get him involved. If we spend all our time trying to stop that, the guy's going to make 4 threes. Right, okay. Yeah. But let's put some length on him. Let's run Golden State. Let's get out in the passing lanes.
Be the younger team.
Let's see if they can contend with us. Because here's the thing. Whoever's going to win this West, whether it be, I see it as a 3-man race. And I'm talking about youth. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about Oklahoma City. And I'm talking about Minnesota. And what I mean by that is those 3 teams can run. I don't think the rest of this West can hang with that. Period. The Rockets need to run this old team. That's how you stop this shooting. And here's the thing. What you do with Jimmy is going to do everything great, but you also put length on Jimmy. Now, I don't mind Jimmy Butler getting 20 points. It's that I want Jimmy Butler to feel like how Jimmy Butler used to feel in Minnesota. I want Jimmy Butler to feel like he feel in the Bulls. You know, Jimmy was notorious for tearing down locker rooms because he felt like the team would come with him. So let's let Jimmy do his thing, but let's shut down everybody else. Let's run them guys. Let's do that. Let's put some length on Steph.
Let's run him too.
Let's run him right.
Test his injury.
Test his injury because we are the younger team. Let's put some length on these guys and let's be young and athletic. Because here's the thing. If we go 7 games with them, which I think we can, it goes in our favor.
Yeah, we back at home.
Right. It goes in our favor. We're back at home and we're more athletic.
We got more time on the trip.
Exactly.
It's a home game.
Exactly. I think that's going to be the key for Minnesota. I think that's the key for Oklahoma City. I just think be young and athletic. Just be who you are. It's not the playoffs is about adjustments. I also think this, whoever he's guarding, let's get some pick and roll. What I mean by Steph.
Yeah. Would I tell you that's the same reason? Would you believe me if I told you that's the same reason the Pacers will beat the Bucks?
Yeah.
Youth?
Yeah.
Running them boys out.
Running them boys.
Yeah. Because even in that series, and that's a great point, they want to set Giannis up in the half court. But they don't have nobody that can run with them like that as far as Indiana and that rotation. Run those guys. This is the first round. You don't start getting into more of a pair of closeness of talent till you start getting the second and third round. These older teams run them to death. You know, I think we all make some great points, and I think that's exactly what we need to do. We need to put some length on Steph. We're going to give a couple of those screens coming off, those handoffs.
Right.
Man, because a couple of them been just bone crushed. Draymond and Looney and them been playing some bone crushed.
Right.
Right.
But here's the thing too. And I think Golden State realized this. There is nobody other than Jimmy Butler. Kuminga could do it, but they're not playing him much. They don't have anybody that can just go get a bucket. everything. See, and that's the biggest thing about Steph. As much as he does, it's shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not giving him the ball on every. Now he can break down, pull up, and all that.
Right,
but
right.
They, for all those years that they won those championships, they were always trying to get somebody that can get a bucket. That's why Durant fit, because Durant won't do anything else but get a bucket.
But get a bucket, yeah.
It works for Golden State because they have all the guys that are willing to do what Durant won't do. Play defense, get rebounds. So right. So it fits for Durant in Golden State because all he wants to do is score. Golden State knows it. Y'all know, if y'all remember, for a time when Harden was with us, they were talking about bringing in Harden. Because at the end of the day, and even when Clay was there, at best, those two guys are shooters.
Yeah, Clay couldn't create.
Right. They can create every now and then, but that's not what. When anytime you get put in pressure, you're gonna go naturally to what you do. So at the end of the day, like you said, Chuck, let's test Jimmy, because Jimmy's really the only one. Kuminga can, but they don't play him enough.
And he's finna lose the minutes now that Jimmy back.
Exactly. And that's why Jimmy is here. Jimmy can go off the dribble. But other than that, who creates offense for them other than running him off of screens? It's an offense predicated on shooting jump shots.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I'm trying to think back in my mind, like who they had, and outside of KD, I can't really think about nobody. I would say Andre Iguodala, though. He did a little bit of that. Yeah, I get him. But and outside of that, you right. I don't really know nobody that can go get buckets but Jimmy. So that really depends on how healthy Jimmy is and how he can move. And you know what I'm saying? That's gonna really. So yeah, you kind of put some in my mind. I never really thought about. I never looked at it like that.
And then you got to think about this too. Their coach know it. Like Steve Kerr, think about his role in Chicago.
Right.
It's not that much more. Now, people gonna get mad when I say this. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you got a
for your hot take.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I'm gonna say this, and this is controversial.
Right.
Steve Kerr in that triangle, much like John Paxson, their job was to knock down open shots. So they understand that when you have a shooter, there's only so much you can do as far as your offense. You still need somebody to go get that bucket.
Yeah, right.
Triangle offense, you have big guards, but you create off those big guards.
Right.
And at best, Steph Curry, it looks funny because we're in the NBA where it could actually look like shooters can win a championship, and they did win as them being shooters. But that organization understood. That's why they didn't mind taking Durant, because they don't really need anybody. It was a perfect marriage because, again, Durant and I'm not gonna do this tonight, but I got a question about him, because when we gonna start asking what's going on with him, second round exits and coaches being fired, but let's just stay off there for now. But it worked for Durant because that's what he wants to do. He wants to score baskets. So if you got somebody in that Golden State system that can do that, you preserve Steph. Draymond can actually sit out there and he can hit an open shots every now and then.
Yeah, I'm about to say he'll hit Draymond to give you an open three. Right. Yeah, he'll give you an open three in one spot for sure.
Right, because mostly in that system for years they've been great jump shooters. But again, think about Golden State and their three-peat run. You know, after a while, you're playing 100 games in the playoffs. Well, can you really make a lot of jump shots when your legs have been through that for 2 to 3 years back to back? That's why the three-peat is so hard to do. Because if you're a jump shooting team, you run out of legs. And you start to depend on that high percentage shot. And you got to have somebody that can get you a high percentage shot, whether it's a post-up, 15-foot pull-up. So they, at best, they've always looked for that. Now, they market themselves on the shooting, but they've looked for that. because at heart, they know that those guys, when Mark Jackson decided to make that switch from Monte to Steph and Clay, he even understood that. He always tried to get somebody there, and then they brought in Curry. I mean, Kerr. But Curry even understands that we need somebody to get us.
Livingston in there.
Yeah, and it was a difficult decision because, you know, Monte Ellis was a heck of a talent. Yeah, you know, but Mark Jackson was brave enough to say, okay, we're going to ride with these two young guys, you know, and that was a difficult. I think they even played together for a little while when Steph was a rookie and Clay was coming in there. But it even worked to a certain extent because Monte could go to the basket. He could get easy baskets, but he was undersized. But if we can get Jimmy to focus on Jimmy, I want Jimmy out there frustrated like he always is when his teammates don't come along with him. If we can shut down the rest of that team and let's make Steph work, I think we win. We should win this series. We really should.
We can impose our style on
We
them
should win this series
because we're much deeper than they are.
Right.
What I'm saying?
Right. All right. Let's do a couple of more topics and let's get out of here. This has been a great episode. Let's do a little bit of trivia. Now, do either one of y'all, and I hate to ask this question. I'm not going to pick on Durant tonight. It's too easy to pick on Durant. All right, I want to ask this question. I actually do want to ask this question. I'm interested in both of y'all's take on this because this is interesting to me. Going back to what you're talking about, Chuck, and we'll get a little bit into history, but BJ Armstrong on his podcast, I'm not even sure if it's a podcast, but it's been getting a lot of looks. It's called Hoops Genius. I think it's him and somebody else, but they brought up a topic that I thought was interesting. I never thought about it, but I'm starting to see a little bit of resemblance in terms of this play. But BJ Armstrong says that we've seen a Giannis-like force back in the day. And he compares Giannis to who? Wilt Chamberlain. Can we see some similarities? Now, this is a debate with bait topic. This is a debate because at the end of the day, when I first looked at this, I'm like, well, of course he's not Wilt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't Wilt.
It wasn't but one Wilt. But let's think about this. Right? Giannis is what?
Maybe 29, 30.
Height-wise, is he 7 foot? 6'11", 6'10"?
7 foot. Yeah, 7 foot.
Wilt, much taller, much bigger. But let's talk about the athleticism. Now, I ain't talking about, we know Wilt ran marathons and wrestled. I ain't talking about that. But when you really look at what Giannis does, can we see some similarities?
I'd say definitely, kind of at this point on second glance, even down to if you're looking at like chips outside of the 100-point game, and maybe what is it? Did he average like 55 boards for a season or something else? Absolutely absurd. But no, I mean, it's like for what Giannis does and for what Giannis gives you, yeah, it's even almost more impressive because it's more 7-footers out there running around. He doing this with, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about them having to pick him up a step inside a half court before he's going down. Because I'm seeing the man take off from the 3-point line and do a finger roll. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dog, 6'11's not supposed to do this. They wasn't doing that back when I was hooping. So, yeah, I mean,
can you see the similarities to Wilt?
I'd say, but not necessarily. What was misleading is because the dominance is not there. It's different. It's different.
I was about to say, I was going to get you on that because Giannis still dominates.
Right, because see, Shaq, the Shaq dominance was more like Wilt's dominance from what I understand in the tape that I've seen. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Giannis still, and it's that taking nothing away because that's the closest thing to dominance we're gonna see in this particular type of league. However, there's just a lot more parity, a lot more athleticism, and a lot more young dumb fools that's gonna go, jump up there and just get either beat down. Plus, like I said, I'm really convinced he's gonna be on the move pretty soon anyway in free agency. He's getting up out of Milwaukee, and that's gonna be scary.
But even with Shaq's dominance, and I think I hear what you're saying, the dominance is the stats because it doesn't look the same. Shaq is more mean, run you over, just brute force and power. Wilt, when I think about Wilt, and I think it's similar to Giannis, it's more of I want to say a little bit more graceful.
Yeah. Giannis is the middle ground between Shaq and
there
Wilt,
you go. That's a good way to put it. Right.
Like Giannis is, he got more touch every now and then. He's streaky. I done seen the man knock down 3 on occasion every now and again. get you 15, 20 rebound games, block some shots, defend the cup. Like the kid, I mean, we really fortunate to be able to witness, be witnesses to this. You know what I'm saying?
When I was looking at it, I'm like, that might be something
You
to
might
that.
be on to something, BJ. Yeah, you might be on to something.
Right. What do you think?
So I'm only
205.
It's Birmingham, Alabama. Stand up. Look,
Maybe that's
so
what it is. When you said I keep saying B block, but
so I'm only 33 years old. So I haven't seen Wilt but I've seen how so I can't really speak to that. But the way that my man just put it, that he is like the baby or the middle ground between Shaq and Wilt, I can see that. I can see that.
And that is a good one. The middle ground. That's even better. Yeah, that's even better. It's like, you got to go through there to get to there. That's
right.
That's actually perfect, man. That's actually, I didn't even think about that. All right.
So
go ahead, 205.
No, I was just gonna say I just to sit here and be like, I'm too young. I'm a baby when it comes to Wilt, so I can't even really, I'm gonna keep it one thou out.
All right, we're gonna stay with you then, because I wasn't going to do this topic, but since you said this is right up your alley.
Okay.
I have been stout on this show about the criticism of Durant.
Okay.
Now, my question is, why is it fair for us to start criticizing? Because let's just break this down. Now, 2021 second round exit with Brooklyn, 2023 second round exit with Phoenix, 2024 swept in the first round,
right?
And now 2025 missed the playoffs,
right?
Can we give that to Durant? Is it the teams? Because it keeps happening. It keeps happening. Like, let's look at Phoenix. Where do they go? If you Phoenix 205, what are you doing? Are you keeping Durant? Because here's the thing. We're not doing anything in Phoenix. We did this experiment with Durant, Booker, Beal. We brought in another coach. Then we bring in another coach.
Yeah.
But if KD leaves Phoenix, where does he go? I kind of almost, and I don't want to say this, but this is my personal feeling. I kind of almost feel like Durant might need this to kind of in a Golden State situation where the team was really kind of already together, and they just kind of added Durant, and he just fit. I kind of feel like that's what it's going to be for him at this point, because I mean, don't get me wrong, Durant still is Durant. He's still a dog now. He's still a pull up on you from, you know what I'm saying? I definitely believe in that. But when it comes to the longevity of a playoffs run, of a playoff series, he definitely needs some help. And I think he got to have the correct pieces. I'm not going to lie. I honestly thought him and Devin Booker being together was going to be, I honestly felt like that was going to be, a force. You get what I'm saying? And I think they kind of showed that, and even in maybe the regular season, they kind of show that. In the playoffs, it get kind of blurry. So, but my question to you is, if he does leave Phoenix, where did he go?
Well, see, here's this is the issue. Okay, this is the issue.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have anything outside of the Golden State experiment now
to compare it to.
Right. And at the end of the day, I was and I've said it 1,000 times, I was very frustrated with him at Oklahoma City, because I felt like there were multiple championships to be won there. You got 3 MVPs that came out of there. You had a young team that when they made it to the finals, and nobody was going to beat that Miami team, and those guys were pups on that Oklahoma City team. But the problem I had with Durant is the next year, we had Golden State down 3-1 in Oklahoma City. Russ gave you everything you had. Jeff Green, who had a great career at Oklahoma City, gave you everything. Harden gave you. This was the time for you to step up and take us to the next level, because you have that ability. Now, I gave you, meaning Durant, a way out because you were young.
Right.
You get upset, and it doesn't get much better talent-wise than that Oklahoma City team. You go and join the team that beat you,
right?
Which is unheard of in our era,
right?
And it works because, again, then you get upset because they don't validate you in Golden State like you want to be validated. You wanted more of the
accolades,
right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you were a piece.
But I don't even see how. Well, you just said that. Thank you. I was about to say I don't even see how he even thought that because you were
a beast,
an additive.
They won before you got there. Now, if they didn't win before you got there, I understand.
Yeah,
but they won
twice.
Exactly.
Right,
so
right.
you was helping them, but they were also helping you.
No, and really,
give me a second. I'm trying to get better light.
It set like a bad example for the league, even.
Yeah.
It's like now you got boys forcing their way out of places. This is how mess you burnt all these bridges, and each team got him, Harden, and Kyrie was on the same track when they linked in Brooklyn like that. That's why it extra flame that didn't work. Kyrie and Harden are just now kind of getting back to reclaiming a little bit of the shine and burn that they had before they got to all this drastic movement. You know, all this cyclical movement. So it's like, I don't fault him. I mean, does he really even have a legacy? It's like, that shit nice, but looking at the way Kawhi is playing, that's the kind of effect I need, you know what I'm saying? For somebody to command this free agency move, because it's like, I'm not even interested in where he lands.
Exactly.
I don't even care.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't matter where he lands, unless it's somewhere like a Golden State reunion or.
But even let's just say what Chuck said in Milwaukee. That's if they can keep that structure together.
Yeah, because he's a Middleton upgrade. If that is the case.
Definitely a Middleton upgrade. But here's the thing: does Giannis stay? I doubt it.
I just don't see it.
I think if you tell Giannis we about to bring in KD,
but again, it's
Giannis gonna look at you like y'all already brought Dame.
Exactly.
I don't know about one of these other washed up stars.
Exactly. And to your credit, Chuck, it could work. You just have to. One of the things you got to remember, we all got to remember about those kind of deals. Of course, talent-wise, it works, but the disposition. How does Giannis view that? You know, do I mind sharing my balls with KD? Because other than that, if I'm Giannis and it's just me, what has he done that I haven't done? Now, if he's willing to come in and he's willing to take a backseat role, because I won a championship too, and I won an MVP. In fact, I won a defensive player.
See, if he put that aside and then made that his priority,
it's the disposition, because it definitely could work in Milwaukee. They do have a structure where all we need you to do is
score.
Right,
that's it.
Right,
but it's like the fact remains, like you said it before. That's the elephant in the room. The only success you really received, you wasn't appreciative of at all.
Right,
like, that's
exactly.
the worst part about it. You wanted.
So is there a veteran group that has everything in order except for a scorer?
So I was gonna say maybe the Clippers.
Maybe.
Because I forgot.
You talking about for KD or for Giannis?
For KD.
Okay, for KD.
Maybe.
Like KD in the mix in LA might work with Kawhi. You know what
maybe.
I'm saying? And because I forgot. That's who shot it. I saw Ben Simmons looking good the other night too, man, off that bench. He changes that unit defensively and gives him a lie.
Because he's still 6'10".
Yeah, he's still 6'10". He can push, paint, and finish. So it's like.
And then that may be it. Those are two good choices, Milwaukee and LA. Those are two good choices. Established, a team that's looking for a championship, and maybe they just add a superstar, a scoring superstar. But for me, the reason why I got this on here, when I say the 2021 second round exit Brooklyn, the 2023 second round exit with Phoenix, and then the sweep in the first round of 2024, and the 2025 this year, of course, missing the playoffs, is this. Everybody has to come to the realization, I've said this years ago, you cannot build a team around him. He needs to be a piece, an integral part to the team. I think Phoenix is figuring that out now, because Phoenix is going to build that team around him. And I don't know how much of a fault it is for Booker. I don't know if Bill ever fit. You know what I'm saying?
Bill never fit.
It never fit. And we don't know much about Bill. It's kind of like a superstar that's on the team that never was going to win. It might be similar to when A-Rod was in Texas. Yeah. He was great, but he wasn't I mean, it's different.
We just wasn't gonna win,
right? And then it's different playing in Texas than playing with the Yankees.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Now he took a backseat role, and he was willing to do that. So we don't know, man. I don't know, and maybe we'll think about that on the next podcast. Where should KD go? I think the Clippers and Bucks are two great places.
What about the Spurs?
I just thought about the Spurs.
And Wemby.
I just thought about the Spurs, but again,
I think that actually might be a destination for Giannis.
But don't forget, you got Fox over there. Is there enough balls to go around? Because now you got De'Aaron over there at the height of his career. Is he willing to share it? Now, if De'Aaron is willing to share and say, hey, I want to win a championship first, maybe. But if you're looking at San Antonio, you run it back. Fox, Wemby, the young kid, Castle,
with a full year together,
exactly,
full season together.
Do you want to disrupt that?
No,
you know what I'm saying. Unless Durant really wants to take a backseat role,
right? If he makes it everything he wants to pay,
and I'm talking about Gary Payton with the Lakers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Role,
like
after Castle.
Yeah, exactly. Or you can start, but we just looking for you to score buckets, which means your minutes are gonna cut down. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we're probably sitting on the best player the next up in Wemby. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he goes to Dallas.
That's a look too. That's a really good.
Kyrie comes back with the unibrow, and they don't have that much time to win.
That's true. Them young bigs,
and Dallas could afford that.
That could save what's his name, Nico.
KD going to Dallas?
Yeah, that might work next year. You got those young athletic bigs. Kyrie. Yeah, and then you got those young athletic bigs that still don't mind getting your trash points and playing defense.
Remind me who at the point in Dallas?
Kyrie.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that could work. I can see that working more so than San Antonio. I don't know why San Antonio. I don't know why. Yeah, I could definitely see that working.
Age, you work better just because
right.
He don't fit the age group.
Right.
With Fox and Wemby.
Right.
All right. Well, cool. Go ahead.
They're more seasoned. I was gonna say they're more seasoned, and I think they'll gel together better. So I could definitely see that him in Dallas. I can see that.
Yeah, and I think if you get a full off season, Kyrie back, you get a full off season with Unibrow. You get everybody back. You might add a shooter or two. That could
you still got Clay there.
Yeah, you still got Clay. So that could work.
Which Clay job becomes much easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with a KD. Yeah.
Right. So you can really just shoot. You can play the two. You don't have to play the three. You can play the two and you can shoot open jump shots. Could you imagine that pick and roll package with Kyrie, Unibrow, and KD? Can you imagine that pick and roll package? Maybe Dallas need to give us some money for that. We just mapped that out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
About that. All right, well, fellas, I think that's good enough for tonight, man. We had an awesome podcast, man. I can't believe I just used that word awesome. But hey, man, let's give out some shout outs, man. I only got one shout out today. That's shout out to Cam Ward for being drafted #1 to the Tennessee Titans. I'm proud of Cam Ward. I think he showed the right humility for me. Now the question I put back on the Titans, because here's the thing. What bothers me about the Titans is that as of lately, they have not been able to keep quarterbacks there. They're not too far away from Cleveland. I think they let the Malik kid, they let him walk out of town.
Willis went to
Green Bay.
Yeah,
so maybe, so shout out to Cam for that. Shout out. I tell you what, man. I'm gonna speak on this now, and I shouldn't, but I'm gonna give a shout out to these Texans. I like
the moves they've been making.
Yeah, I like the moves they've been making. I hope they're doing what they need to do with CJ. making him comfortable next year. But I like what I'm seeing from the Texans, so I'm looking forward to that. Ro, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, no, I got to shout out to homie. Yeah, like I said, shout out to Shedeur too. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head up, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's just a blip on the radar for you, man. Like I said, I'm pulling for the miracle for you. I can see you work out in Cleveland for you. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wish you well. Like, congratulations to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Shay, man. Get it together, my man. Get it together, my boy.
205, man. This is the part of the segment, like anything sports wise, whether it be college, high school, or pro. If you want to shout out anybody, you can. We just shout out random people, like if somebody get a new contract, something like that, or anything.
Right.
We just shout out anybody, and if you ain't got none, that's fine. But this is the last part of us wrapping up. But I want to give a shout out to you, and I want you to come back whenever you want to. If you want to come,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about it is that you know sports, and just a little bit of time that you talk, we could definitely use another co-host. So shout out to you. You welcome to come back. Hopefully you'll come back every week if you can. Right. It just makes it that much more exciting. The more that we have, the more people that we have, especially people that know sports. You don't run across a lot of people that know sports. So you definitely
they actually know what they're talking about, because everybody know it. Everybody swear they know.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely come back next week after that, whenever we go, man, and
for sure,
make it happen. I'll be interested to see you get in some debates with Cole, because Cole is the other controversial act from the East Coast. And like I wanted him on tonight because it actually worked out in the fact that me and Ro kind of feel the same way we feel about Shedeur and the whole.
Right.
You were kind of on the fence, but you were more biased to Shedeur. You and Cole would have been a perfect 2-on-2 versus me.
I'll definitely say I'm biased because I watched him.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna tell y'all something. And I think me and Chuck had this conversation because I watched this boy at JSU. I think it was the year that Bryce Young won the Heisman.
Right, Alabama.
If Shedeur had not been at the HBCU, he would have won it. At least in my opinion, he should have. He should have. If he had not been at the HBCU, and if he had, they're gonna still say, well, if he was at Colorado, they're gonna still say competition, because we know that the SEC is the most dominant conference. Right. Just call it spade a spade. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, but my shout out to everybody, man. Everybody who got drafted, everybody who heard their name calling and are able to change not just their lives, the lives of their family members and people around them. And I want to shout out I got to shout out Chuck, obviously, because he the one who brought me on, who told me about it. And I got to shout y'all out, for allowing me to be on y'all platform. I really appreciate it.
That's right. Well, we really appreciate it, man. We definitely want you back. If you want to come back in, of course, man, we definitely want you back in next week or week after that, whenever we get back into it, man. But I think we've had a great show tonight, man. Shout out to Mo Serious at moserious.com. Shout out to anybody that was in the chat. Make sure if you follow us, DWB Debate with Bake Podcast, make sure you give us that like and subscribe. Also go on Mo Serious and check out the other podcast acts that we have. Make sure you give them a like and subscribe and check them out. They do a lot of good things, especially guns down, gloves up when you talk about the community. Make sure you go in there, give them a like and subscribe. Make sure you just go on moserious.com. Anyway, check out our sponsors. Make sure you look at the gear. We got a lot of fresh gear. Summertime coming up. Grab those caps, grab those tank tops, grab those t-shirts, man. And make sure you come back and give us a like and subscribe. We are out. Episode 12, season 4 of Debate with Bake Podcast. Want to give a special shout out to Chuck, the man that makes everything happen at Mo Serious. The first lady, Kim, my man Ro, always bringing the heat. Shout out to my man Cole out there in New York City, man. I hope it ain't too cold out there with the Knicks. They're looking real shaky against those Pistons. But shout out to everybody that checked us out. And we are out. We will check you out next week. Make sure you hit us up on moserious.com and make sure you give us that like and subscribe. We are out.
Debate with Bake. Season 4. Let's go. Here we go, Debate with Bake Sports Show. Season 4, live at Mo City Radio. We talking basketball, football, and boxing. You got something to say, man? Jump up in them comments. We just giving opinions, supporting it with proof. Let's look at the stats, cause numbers tell the truth. It ain't no hating, no. We just debating, interviewing guests so we can learn how they operating. Shout out the Prize Picks for the daily fantasy. Invest a few dollars, let's do some gambling. C-Bake got the topics and he keep it cracking. Laro got the commentary and he never lacking. Cole with the game, he live from the Big Apple. You know, most serious entertainment made it happen. Another sports show, we live from the Mo. Debate with Bake, season 4, let's go.